Hi, Mike DePung here on Spirit Hill. I'm so glad you've joined me for looking into healing in and into love and light. Um, I haven't posted for over a week now, and there's a reason for that. Part of it is my own healing process that continues and is always going to be incomplete, but it's always operative. It's a process, and it's a wonderful thing because it means that my heart operating system is working to help me see, and that I can access the spirits that are all about me to help me understand. And so, welcome here to join with me in this. And I just want to share some things today that are that have been helpful to me over the past week or so. Some ideas that I hope will help you. I hope you're doing well. How are you? How is your healing going? And you know, healing is not always big gaping wounds that are being closed up. Can be, often are, but it's a matter of just understanding and knowing who we are. And I will talk about that for a little bit today. But the main focus today that I want to talk about that has been on my heart, it's even initiated a poem, which we'll see how that goes, and I might share that at some point, is an idea about enchantment and disenchantment. This especially came up with the holiday over this past weekend, last weekend. The idea that an enchantment is a spell, is a spell that has been cast. It's interesting because linguistics was one of my areas of interest in my degree work. And so I usually go back and look at words. The idea of enchantment, that the middle part of that is Kent. It's from an ancient, well, I'm not going to describe the linguistics. It's called Proto-Indo-European, an ancient root language. And the word means to sing. And so quite often these spells that are cast are things that are sung into existence. They are sung, there are words that are used, and they create effects. And we know music is powerful. Songs are powerful. And they can be used through ego or through heart. And quite often the same kinds of things can arise, but the big difference is which operating system are we using, ego or heart. One's going to create much more joy and help us to step into our peace and power and divinity and find balance. The other is going to leave us with hold still, and we're going to keep searching and wondering what we're doing, what we're all about, and that would be ego. So here's the deal. In fact, today, there in Spanish and some of the Romance languages, the verb to sing is cantar. And cantar means, it comes from this ancient Proto-Indo-European root, directly from it. So it's interesting to think about it. And here's the way I've thought about it in terms of nationalism. And for the United States of America, last weekend being July 4th, Independence Day, I thought about a number of things. I used to get really excited about it. And to some extent, there's still some fun times to be excited about. But I want to talk about the enchantments, the spells that have been cast. First of all, let me give one example of something that has stuck with me. When I was in the classroom teaching, one of the things that happened is a network, a company, and I don't even remember what the company was, offered to install televisions throughout the schools, including the wiring. And wiring and TVs are really expensive in the kinds of bulk we're talking about. The thing is, this company knew that there was a really valuable and resource that would pay off much more, and that was the captive audience of students watching every day for some 10 or 12 minutes. I don't remember exactly what it was. And there would be numerous advertisements during their so-called newscast there would be a bunch of ads that were run. Now, we use the TVs for a lot of things, but I can guarantee you that that company would not have given us those resources had they not been assured that they would pay thousands and thousands of times over. Commercials, ads, in various forms, cast spells. They make us think we need, we want, or that we can have those things. And it's a fairy tale world, and it would be wonderful to have that pair of special shoes or those clothes or those jeans or whatever it might be. And boy, the kids just ate it up. I know because I would hear them talk about it. I hear them refer to the commercials. They would bring it up. Some of them they'd laugh at. Other ones they would be like, well, yeah, I want that stuff. Well, this is the way it works. The economy and advertising, there are people who understand how this works. And it doesn't mean ego or heart, either one, but many times people like this use ego to exercise these controls over society, to cast spells, to enchant people, to want what they have, and to hold out the promise, to dangle before them, tantalize them with the possibility of having the same power and wealth and control they have if we only will buy what they are selling. It's the idea of success. If we have those things, we will be successful. You know, the history of nations, the whole idea of nationalism requires enchantment. That we are special, that we are different from every other nation on earth, that we cannot be challenged or we will retaliate. Well, you know what? The history and the painting of nationalism, the enchantment that is cast of some fairy tale nation that never truly existed, except in the way that was written by the white, by and large, the white patriarchs who conquered and destroyed. And people today don't like to think about those things. They like the history that says, this is our sweet little fairy tale nation. This is our world. And the thing is, that doesn't do anybody any good, really, because it doesn't allow anybody to access self and to think about what is real life. And so, yes, I keep referring to notes. I'm sorry, because there were too many ideas to go without notes. And so here's the deal. When we let others enchant us, our ego is ready to jump on those enchantments because they offer us something. They offer us safety, security. They offer possibilities. And it eliminates, to some extent, fear. But when we eliminate fear, there are a lot of other things that come about. Now, fear is not a good thing most of the time, but there are some ways it is. We should fear the enchantments that are cast on us. And when we leave heart dormant, ego works, and ego just jumps on those things and starts asking a bunch of questions when we think about, well, what would we be if there weren't this perfectly painted nation for us? What would happen? And boy, that really came up over the past 5 or 6 years with all the political stuff we went through here in the States, and that many nations are going through now with those who want to be power controllers, who want to assume dictatorial, authoritarian roles and tell everybody what their nation is, to tell everybody what their lives should be, to cast spells and to leave people empty, and to leave people hurt and suffering, and to hurt others and hurt large groups of people when they can't fit into the fairy tale. And so when ego is presented with these fairy tales, it starts asking a bunch of questions to fit in, because that's ego's job. Ego's not being nasty. Ego's not being wrong. It's part of us. But we have to learn when we say, I choose heart, when to say, I choose heart. So ego asks questions like, well, if all this is going on and I see these spells and I see these wonderful things happening because of this magic, how should I look to please others in society? How should I behave? What's acceptable? What words are acceptable? How can I get all that stuff? Who should I listen to for direction? What religion would be the right religion? Who should guide what morals are and what is right or wrong? All of these are ego questions. They are questions of the lower mind, of the lower ego mind, and they do nothing to help us know ourselves. And this is what healing is. It's coming to recognize and to know self. Heart will tell us if you look into your own heart, if you look into your own eyes, whether in a mirror or just in your thoughts, and you go through all the bullshit of all these spells that have been cast on us, you will hear the heart saying who you really are, what you really are. And it starts with this, that we all are. We are spirit incarnate. We are divinity. And we came here taking on a human form, which makes us seem less divine, but we are not. And we have to learn what the real magic is. The real magic is we have the power to cast spells, to sing songs of enchantment. But let me back up just a little bit. Other people cannot tell us who we are in terms of the flavor, the seasoning that you give to this spirit self, to this incarnate, spirit incarnate self. All that you have known and seen and learned and nurtured and endured, none of it is wasted. None of it is makes us less. It was all there for a reason, to help flavor our specific expression of divinity here. And that is an amazing thing. And that's part of healing, is to start beginning to recognize that all the little pieces along the way. This is healing into love and light, discovering self. It starts with the base, and then each of us are unique, wonderfully, beautifully unique. And I want to get to that in just a second too. So the siren songs of anything, those songs that cast spells on us, they yield what ego believes will fulfill us, will keep us safe, will reward us, will help us feel good. And what we find when we get those things quite often is that we're empty. How many very famous, wealthy, popular people end up destitute, or end up committing suicide because they're still empty? They didn't come to realize their own divinity, their own power in many ways. And I don't judge anybody for that sort of thing. It was their experience. It's part of why they came. And that's for them to sort out, and healing will continue for them. But here's the deal. There's a whole nation here, and many of us are in nations where this picture of nationalism has been, the spell of nationalism has been cast upon the mass who don't question, but nationalism tends to the same ego concerns of keeping us safe and secure. We don't need a fairy tale. We need to change the collective energy about that fairy tale to include the things that we really came here to know as divinity, to see the wonder and the awe all about us and in one another, to see spirit, that spirit self in one another, to look through ego expression and to love, to look through ego expression and to enjoy, to be fulfilled, to act in significant ways that makes us truly happy and full. So, we don't need a fairy tale nation. We need a true self. We need to cast off this collective expression that never existed. And we don't need to hold things sacred that aren't sacred. The only thing sacred is you and me. And that's the truth. That at least is my truth. So, as we could expect, anything that challenges the enchantments of egotists and egomaniacs who have said no to their own hearts and have cast spells of enchantment to help make others believe and to control others to be like them, we can expect that's going to be met with a lot of resistance. And we have seen that collectively, and we quite often experience that individually. Well, if I don't have all these things, if I can't get all that stuff, what am I? Who am I? What's my life going to be about? And I'll tell you, I understand. It's a very real question. They're very real challenges. But when we look within, we find there's much more to be discovered. And this is what I want to get to. We have the magic within us. What I would ask us to do together as a community, as a healing community, and individually in your own times of healing exercises and energies, start disenchanting yourself. Get disenchanted with all of this, all of these other spells that have been cast upon us. And here's the deal. We're going to come to a point, and you will come to a point, and I will come to a point when we realize there's nothing else. There's no other disenchantments. There are no other spells to break. There are no other songs to try to get out of our heads. And we can begin singing our own songs, casting our own spells, our own enchantments, not to control others, not to create something that is a fairy tale that doesn't really exist, but to create our world, because we are creators, to create what we want, to experience what we came here to experience, to look around and to discover again. Even as I've been looking around doing this, I see these birds. I've seen cardinal, I've heard blue jay here, and they all speak to me. We have these great spirit energies all about us. And when we realize that, as I said in another video, that the whole universe can be right here in the backyard, and that we can appreciate the unity, that we can appreciate things like I have been considering frequently over the past many months, the unity of all of this. Mother Earth gives life to all, has this rich fecundity that is birthed. But in order for those creations to continue, we all need the air, flora and fauna alike, in different forms that we need the air. We need water. And we need fire to transform, to burn away that which isn't useful. And it happens in nature. And beyond that, we stretch out to the universe. We need the moon to keep this earth on its axis, at the right tilt, that there would be seasons, and that the oceans would ebb and flow as they should. And we need the sun to initiate photosynthesis. And it all works together. We realize it all works together. For me, for us. It all works together because we came here as creators. We get to cast the magic and to start realizing these things. These are the kinds of enchantments we need to cast. We need to sing into existence the way we see and view self, the way we feel about self, and then to start tackling those shadows, to start tackling things of darkness that are sometimes created by the collective, that sometimes emanate from spells that have been cast on us. And sometimes this work of healing in and into love and light is to begin disenchanting, becoming disenchanted with the spells others have cast upon us, and take responsibility and joy and do it in love and peace, to cast our own spells, to create our own magic. It's all there within us. It's all available to us. We have a wealth of unseen energies all about us that help us. So I hope this is an encouragement for you, what is left of this weekend and into the coming week. And I will plan on seeing you the next time. If you would, if this means anything to you, hit the like button, because that encourages me. And if you haven't subscribed and you want to be notified of these things, hit that subscribe button and the notification button. And comment. More than anything, if you want to be involved in this, if you would like some fellowship in this time of healing and love and light. And it can be lonely sometimes, and it helps at times. There are times we need to be lonely. We need to spend that time with the spirits and with just ourselves. Other times, it really helps to have another human. Make the comments, and let's talk. So, until next time, love and peace in your journey of healing in and into love and light.